how they made it to the championship four.
Started out pretty good winning at Daytona. We knew we had an opportunity to race for a championship right away, the first race of the year. This season's been long. It's been a struggle at times. The playoffs were tough. I was probably more stressed about making it round and round each round of the playoffs than going to Homestead and racing for a championship. I think probably the turning point, it was a few weeks in a row, making my first Xfinity start at Iowa, getting a lot of confidence for me, and going to Gateway and having that first win.
That comes to mind. It wasn't very good. We ended up both not winning.
When we went up to the road course and actually led some laps for me, that's a big deal. I would say Vegas. We ran out of fuel while we were leading on a green-white checkered. You've been racing almost as long as I have. It's easy to get preconceived notions on how you think things should be or how things should go.
These guys, they're all really good. These three competitors I'm racing against.
You know, I don't know if I can necessarily say it was me that brought this team to the Final Four. I think it was a group effort.
We keep performing, and we were able to win last weekend in Phoenix and hopefully repeat again this weekend in Homestead.
Yeah, however they made it, congratulations are in order. Now, Caitlin Vincey will be joining us soon from Miami to talk to the four championship contenders. First up, the closer, Brett Moffitt. Whether the team was looking for funding to make it to the next race or trying to advance to the final round of the playoffs, Moffitt has found a way to win this year whenever he needed it most.
This is clearly a championship contender. They're going to have to find some sponsorship.
Crossover move by Brett Moffitt, and Brett Moffitt will take the win.
We're not the biggest team, but we proved tonight we're the best.
Oh, yeah. Love you, Vincey. Thank you, guys. The checkers will wave for Brett Moffitt. He's going to win at ISM Raceway.
And what an incredible season it has been for Brett Moffitt. 5 wins you've had this year, but what would it mean to you to close out the deal and get the championship here in the Truck Series tonight?
More than anything, I think everyone at this HRE crew deserves it. They've worked really hard. We haven't had the biggest crew all year. We got 9 to 10 full-time employees, and that just shows their dedication level. So I think if we don't win it, it'd be an asterisk next to it. Feel like we left the mission incomplete, but hopefully we can go out there tonight and win the race and win the championship.
Thank you for your time. Best of luck to you. That's Brett Moffitt, as we talked about, a 5-time winner so far this year. He will start 5th for tonight's race, and hopefully he will win that title. John?
Yeah, Caitlin, he's been the Cinderella story all season long. But, Todd, now that it comes down to the championship four, what are his chances?
I really like Brett's chances. I think even though he has no truck experience here at Homestead, he's got quite a bit of Cup experience. And we know that Cup cars are hard to drive. On those old tires, slipping and sliding, a long run, you know, you got to hang on to him. You got to have a lot of car control, and he understands that. So I think he's got good chances tonight. When these things get slipping and sliding at the end of the run, he's going to be up against that wall, and you know, at the end of the race, that's where you got to be up there. So he's got a good shot.
You know, the thing is, that I love about him, he is a pressure player. I mean, anytime these guys, like we talked about early on, they get themselves, their back against the wall, they seem like they rise to the occasion. He is definitely the closer out of these 4 drivers, 3 other drivers, I should say. And the ability and what he was able to do, just like last weekend, getting that great restart at Phoenix, when it really mattered, he got it done. He's the kind of guy that I love to watch race. He's had a little bit of bad luck, but at the same time, he's the kind of guy that can close out the year.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it really might come down to something like a great restart that could make all the difference. Now, there is still lots more race day coming your way. Over the next half hour, we'll recap each of the championship contenders' seasons and hear from them as they get ready to strap in for the final race of the year.
Tonight, the Truck Series crowns a champion.
Right here on FS1.
Gregson has dominated tonight.
This is a talented racer.
A perfect night. He won the pole. He won stage 1. He won stage 2. Noah Gregson victorious at Kansas.
With 1 year of experience and the champion crew chief from 2 of the past 3 years, Noah Gregson was an early favorite to win this year's title. But before he climbs into his KBM truck for the final time, He's standing by with Caitlin Vincey.
Thank you, John. Well, Noah, we were just talking about this is the last time you're going to be in a truck. You're moving on to the Xfinity Series next year. What would it mean to you to kind of cap off the season, continue that legacy for Kyle Busch Motorsports, and your crew chief, Rudy Fugle, with the title?
It'd be really special. Rudy, he sent me a picture a couple nights ago of his 7 championship rings, and he said, it's within an arm's length reach. Just got to go get it and stay focused. So we've been preparing really good this weekend, but this weekend's not about me. It's about all the people who have helped get me here. Safe Flight Auto Glass, Switch, Toyota, Kyle Busch Motorsports, everybody, the Hanley family, Dustin Ash Motorsports, everybody there, Jefferson Pitts Racing, everybody who's helped me get to this point in my career. It's for all those people.
Well, thank you for your time and good luck to you. Noah Gragson starting third for tonight's race. John?
And Caitlin, that makes him the highest qualifier of the 4 championship drivers. And Jeff, he's also got a ton of experience on top of the pit box, all things that are boding very well for Noah.
Yeah, when you look at the numbers, Rudy Fugle is definitely the class act when it comes to pit crews and crew chief for us tonight's race. But let's face it, to me, they're kind of limping into this deal here at Miami because of the fact the other 3 teams have all came in here with wins. He hasn't won since Kansas. So, Todd, how's he going to turn it around and get in there and be able to mix it up with these guys?
I got to disagree with you that he's limping in here. I think right now Noah's driving is the best it's been all year. You know, we watched him beginning of the year, a little aggressive, made some mistakes, took himself out of the chance to win a few races. But when he had to sit out at Pocono, it's like you flipped a switch. When he came back, he got smarter. He was less aggressive, putting himself in the right positions, and that's what got him into the playoffs. So I think he's got a shot tonight.
Yep, just got to beat 3 of the best, though, to get it done. Now, another young driver looking for his first Truck Series championship is Justin Haley. After missing the first 2 races last season because he wasn't old enough to compete, Haley came on strong this year.
Justin Haley, for the first time in his career, is a Truck Series winner. He does it at Gateway. Goes side by side and around. Justin Haley is going to come through and win in Canada. Let's go to Homestead, baby. Justin Haley's going to win at Texas. Unbelievable.
And Justin Haley joining me now. We were just taking a look back at your statistics from kind of the last part of this season. You guys really hit some momentum at the right time in the playoffs. How has that really helped you as you've kind of moved through these different rounds in the championship hunt?
Well, yeah, obviously having momentum in the playoffs, running good always helps when you come down here in Miami and try to fight for a championship. You know, everyone back at the shop with GMS Fabrication and all the road guys, the picker guys, you know, having their support and dedication means a lot to me. So it's been a fun trip so far. Taking this FOE Chevy to the front at some of these races. So hopefully we can cap it off tonight.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to you. That's Justin Haley, a 3-time winner so far this year. He will start 4th for tonight's race.
Yeah, Caitlin, that's a lot of success so far this season. And, Jeff, here's a driver who has really been a nice surprise throughout the whole season.
No, he really has been. I mean, for a young driver and the situation for his first championship, he has shown a level of maturity to me that's very rare. But the good thing about it, at least Todd, I think it's kind of like a situation where he doesn't know what he doesn't know. So to me, I don't think he's probably feeling the kind of pressure and the expectation of somebody like Johnny Sauter or some of the other guys that I think people are saying, oh, yeah, they got a shot to win. I think he's kind of taking it easy.
I think he's the sleeper of our 4 contenders, really. Yeah. You know, every race that he won, he wasn't in contention to win, but he put himself in the right position to take advantage of it. So tonight, if he gets down to the end of this race and he's toward the front, putting himself in position, he's got himself in the right spot to give himself a chance to win this championship.
Yeah, he's got that nothing-to-lose attitude when you get to that point of the race. It's anybody's out of these 4. Now, we've still got one more championship contender to talk to and plenty of scenarios to break down. Stick around. Race day. We'll be right back as we get ready to crown the 2018 Camping World Truck Series champion.
4 drivers, 4 drivers, 4 drivers, 4 drivers, only 1 champion. Tonight, right here on FS1.
The countdown in Miami continues, and when the checkered flag waves tonight, we will have a 2018 Truck Series champion. So Johnny Sauter has pretty much been the class of the field all year long. He has the most wins and leads almost every statistical category, and many have him as their favorite for a second Truck Series title.
So much experience up there riding in that 21 truck with Johnny Sauter.
Johnny Sauter is going to win the season opener at Daytona. Sauter will win at Bristol.
Coming to the checker. Get you down the clock, man.
What a season it has been for Johnny Sauter.
And statistically, it has been one of your best seasons ever. 6 wins for you this year. Based on what you've seen out of your truck, though, do you feel like you can get the most important one, get the title?
It's so hard to tell. Obviously, you know, trucks are the first on the racetracks. The track's green, has a lot of grip, and then the grip kind of goes away as Xfinity and the Cup cars run. And then nighttime comes, so it's a totally different animal. So, unfortunately, we got a flat tire in the second practice today and had to park our truck 30 minutes early because you only want to put one set on. So, I thought we were okay. Having said that, I'm not really sure what to think. So last week I thought we were decent and we were junk. So, you know, anything's possible. And obviously we qualified decent. So we just got to be there at the end with our ISM Connect Chevy and, you know, see what we can do.
Thank you for your time. Good luck to you. Johnny Sauter, a past champion in the Truck Series, hoping to get another one tonight. John?
Yeah, Caitlin, he seems calm, cool, and collected. No doubt he's had an amazing season. And Todd, you know, he's the only guy that's been here before out of the 4.
Yeah, he's got to be the guy to beat. You got to come right out and say that because of his experience, right? Been here 3 times. Like you heard him talking. He understands what the racetrack's going to do. He understands the pressures during a race, how to put himself in the right position. So I think he's got to be the favorite.
It's hard to argue with that. And on top of that, out of all the guys, we're talking about how great they have qualified right there together. He's sitting right there. He can size up his competition. He doesn't have to go up there and start racing with these other 3. He can sit there and basically follow them until it matters the most, because in the end is when it counts, and that experience will come into play. So, I mean, it's really hard to say that Johnny Sauter does not have the upper hand, at least in that experience category.
Yeah, because a lot of it's mental, and he certainly has the mental edge for being there before. And as we take a look at the starting grid, the front row 2 are not playoff drivers. The next 4 are. All 4 guys are playoff contenders, are starting right next to each other.
Yeah, how about Ross Chastain? Ross is running all 3 races this weekend. A great way to start it off, qualifying 7th in the Nice Motorsports truck. But wouldn't it be nice to see him get the same kind of finish for this up-and-coming race team? What a great team.
It really would be. But here's the guy that I'm kind of concerned about. Matt Crafton starting deep in the field. And he's had a pole here. He's had a win here. But to me, they got to turn some things around. And you were talking about how you expected him to come out there and really kind of be going for it to try to kind of turn his season around, get that first win in 2018 and finish high and finish strong.
All right, it's time to put you guys on the spot. Who are your championship picks, Todd?
Well, I got to go with Sauter for obvious reasons. I mean, the last 3 races, playoff races at Homestead, he's finished 7th, 3rd, and 3rd. And before that, he's got 1 win at Homestead. So first, he knows how to get around Homestead, and he's been in this position before. I think he's got to go.
Come on, hurry up. I got to say mine a little deal. The closer.
The closer,
right
okay.
now. The closer right now.
It's okay to agree, Jeff.
No, I don't want to agree with him because I really believe he's got his back against the wall. He'll be tough tonight.
It's my second pick right there.
Okay, but you know, it's kind of simple when you just say it. Beat the other 3 and you win the championship, but that is a whole lot more easier said than done. Now we've set the stage, but who will be standing on it when the night ends? In just a couple of hours, 1 driver will be hoisting this trophy. We'll go trackside in Homestead-Miami to find out when race day returns. The numbers are simple. The mission is not. 4 drivers, 1 trophy. It is all on the line tonight. What started in Daytona in February ends in Homestead. Let's go trackside for the ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask your cooperation. Please rise and remove your hats as the Special Operation Command South Honor Guard presents our nation's colors. Earlier this week, the racing community lost a legend with the passing of NASCAR Hall of Famer David Pearson. Known as one of the greatest drivers the sport has ever seen, Pearson was a 3-time Premier Series champion and still ranks 2nd on the all-time wins list with 105 victories. At this time, we ask that you join us for a moment of silence to honor the memory of the Silver Fox, David Pearson. Thank you. Please remain standing as Pastor Sammy Flores from Christ Fellowship offers tonight's invocation.
Let us pray. Lord, thank you so much for the opportunity that allows us to be here tonight. We pray, Lord Jesus, that you would be with the drivers, keep them safe, bless them and their families. We also ask, Lord Jesus, that you would bless our military. We thank you for their service, some giving the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. And we ask that you would bless this great nation and be with us tonight. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome from Lord's Academy, local artist Ariana Nunez.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
On a perfect night in South Florida, it is time to decide the championship. Race fans, we love you. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Let's go to Vince Welch.
The season began in February with a field of drivers filled with hope. And it ends tonight here in South Florida with one discovering hope is actually his reality and being crowned the champion. Let's get the latest on the 4 title contenders, beginning with Alan Cavana.
Vince, Brett Moffitt and Hattori Racing are by far the smallest team in this championship 4. At one point this season, they were days away from missing a race due to lack of funding. Instead, they bounced back. They won 5 times, and they were able to get to victory lane and put themselves in position for this title. This week, though, Brett Moffitt revealed he won't be in that driver's seat for this team next year. He's looking for a job. What better way to pad the resume than with a championship title? Right next to him is Justin Haley, the dark horse of this field. He says, don't call me the underdog. Make sure you call me the dark horse. He's not the type to dominate races, but he can find victory lane, doing it 3 times this season. He says he wants to treat this like a normal race, but this is nothing but normal. He is 200 miles away from a title, Hermie.
Well, Alan, by all accounts, it's been a career season for the veteran of the group, 40-year-old Johnny Sauter. 6 wins this regular season, but he comes into Homestead needing to recapture some of the momentum he had earlier this season. They struggled at Texas and Phoenix, and earlier today, a cut right rear tire forced this team to miss about 30 minutes of practice when they chose to save an additional set of tires for the race tonight. But they rebounded for a 6th place qualifying effort. Johnny Sauter goes after championship number 2 tonight. Now, Noah Gregson, speed has not been the problem. This truck has been fast all year. He has led the series in pole positions, 10 stage wins this year for the A team. The problem, they have not been up front at the right time when the checkered flags fall. But Noah Gregson tells me they ended practice early today because he was happy with his truck. It was fast. He said, hey, I drive for Kyle Busch. My crew chief, Rudy Fugle, has the pedigree to do this. We expect to win this championship tonight, Vince.
Good stuff. So much at stake. So many storylines tonight. Great to have you with us for this championship race. Along with Michael Waltrip and Phil Parsons, I'm Vince Welch. I loved how Justin Haley said, I don't want to be called the underdog. Call me the dark horse, but not the underdog. Who is the favorite among the four tonight?
Well, I have to make Noah Gregson the favorite because of Rudy Fuqua as crew chief. He's won 5 of the last crew chief championships here in the Truck Series. He's going to be fast. Hermie talked about his speed. A lot of poles, a lot of stage wins, and I think he can close the night. And if not, his Toyota buddy can do it. Brett Moffitt, what speed he had in practice earlier today. He said he had a 10th on the field. They looked at Lap Tracker. They studied the Dartfish. All the data says they're the best truck. So it's Toyota versus Chevy tonight, Phil, and I have to give Toyota advantage. Do you agree?
Absolutely not, Michael, because how can you discount the experience of Johnny Sauter? He's a former champion. He's won at this racetrack. He's won twice this year on the mile and a half. You have to go with the experience of Johnny Sauter. He's got to be my favorite. And right behind him, whether he's a dark horse or an underdog, all Justin Haley is a winner. He's won 3 times the second half of the season. It would not shock me to see him put his name on this championship trophy.
Well, remember last year in this race, a driver who wasn't among the championship four is the guy that actually won the race. Chase Briscoe won this one last year, and he wasn't racing for the championship on that night. So if it's someone outside the championship four tonight, who is it going to be?
Well, we talked all year long. It's not about if Stuart Friesen was going to win a race. It's when Stuart Friesen was going to win a race. He's had his opportunities, but he hasn't got it done. He's on the front row here. He has a very fast Chevrolet. I think Stuart Friesen can certainly go to victory lane. And if not him, and it's not one of our championship guys, look over right next to him, 98. I talked to Jeff Hensley and Grant Enfinger down in the garage here this morning. I've never seen any two guys more serious about getting it done tonight. He's already won this year at Las Vegas, and he can do it again.
And those two guys start on the front row tonight.
That's right, but I don't agree, Phil. I think
I'm shocked.
It's going to be Ross Chastain because of the speed he showed in practice earlier today. He's only made a handful of truck starts this season, and this is by far his best qualifying effort. I think he can certainly drive that number 38 to victory lane. And if not, I'm liking the upset tonight. What about Myatt Snyder? He's battling for a Rookie of the Year title against Todd Gillen, and through 2 of his last 6 starts, he's been 2nd and 3rd, knocking on that door. Maybe today they walk through it.
Now remember, the championship four tonight, it's not about stage points for them in any way. It's just who's going to finish ahead of the other 3 is going to be the champion. So not racing for stage points for the first time all season. How does that change the strategy, or does it?
It can come into play. Actually, NASCAR has given these guys an extra set of tires, so they will have 4 sets of tires on pit road when they start this race, in addition to the tires they have on the truck. So it could be the fact that a late pit stop, maybe with just a couple laps to go, does it.
Well, we're getting ready. We're getting close. We're getting ready to decide the title. Who's it going to be? Noah Gregson, Justin Haley, Brett Moffitt, or Johnny Sauter?
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome our Grand Marshal, Ford Super Duty Marketing Manager, Truck Brand Team, Brian Rathsberg.
On behalf of Built Ford Tough Trucks, drivers, start your engines.
Fired up, ready. Maybe get it fired up here and there.
They've gotten that command for the final time. Tighten those belts. Get that steering wheel just right. These 4 drivers are about to decide the championship at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Brett Moffitt. Brett has gone to the front. Johnny Sauter.
Huge win to secure his spot.
Justin Haley's going to benefit. Unbelievable. A perfect night. Noah Gregson victorious. 4 drivers have survived the playoffs. It is title time. One final race.
The time is now. Homestead Homestead-Miami Speedway, the 23rd and final race of the season. Tonight, we decide the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Championship. It's the Ford EcoBoost 200. Absolutely perfect conditions tonight on one of the most challenging racetracks that we come across during the course of the season. Challenging, yet provides opportunity, Mike.
Well, what I love about it is the 18 to 20 degree variable banking in the turns. That means these guys are going to be searching for grip from the bottom to the top. You can see the track is symmetrical, front straightaway and back the same. This place provides for all kinds of action.
And the race analysis.
You see this race is made up of 3 stages. You see 30, 30, and 74. Remember, no stage points for the 4 championship contenders. 134 laps, 201 miles. Our pit window somewhere between 50, 55 laps. That means we will have a pit stop, at least one pit stop in our final stage.
Well, we have 4 championship contenders tonight, but none of the 4 will start on the front row. Grant Enfinger won the pole, and Stuart Friesen will start alongside, and they were both spectacular in qualifying today.
They said, what championship?
There's Noah Gragson, one of my picks, alongside Justin Haley. There's Brett Moffitt, starting from the 5th position in the Ison Toyota.
We have all the playoff contenders right clumped together there in the 2nd and 3rd row.
See, Myatt Snyder leads the Rookie of the Year standings. Sheldon Creed, the ARCA champion. Todd Gilliland also battling for Rookie of the Year back there in row 8.
Good qualifying effort from Robbie Lyons back in row number 9.
Certainly was. A lot of good guys, good contenders.
Crafted back in row 11.
I was going to say up toward the front, and one championship guy that we thought at the beginning of the season starting all the way back outside the top 20.
16 rows of 32 drivers to get the green flag tonight, all with differing agendas. We know that 4 want to win the championship, but everybody has a goal in mind, and we're going to give you some great looks at this race tonight.
Yeah, this is our championship contender, Johnny Sauter, the ISM Connect Chevy. We're going to have that great visor cam right there, view of Johnny Sauter. He's won it before. He did it in 2016, that championship, and he will start from the 6th spot.
We're also going to ride along with Brett Moffitt in his Toyota. Let's see if we can get a word with Brett while we're riding along. Hey, Brett, it's Michael Waltrip and the boys in the Fox booth. Do you copy?
Yeah, I got you, Michael.
Well, it's all here for you. A chance to be champion. By all accounts, you're the favorite as far as the way practice went this morning. How do you feel, bud?
I feel good. We got a really good icy group, Tundra. We've worked hard all year. You know, these guys deserve the shot to win, so hopefully we can take them to victory lane.
What will be the key for you winning tonight? Running the bottom, running the top? How will you attack this race?
I just think you got to be willing to move. Move around, be aggressive, and find what works.
All right. Hope it all works for you, bud. Talk to you later.
10-4, thank you.
You know what I love? That's what dirt racers do. They run around and try to find some fresh pavement, something that'll stick. Brett's an old dirt racer.
We're also going to ride along with another one of our championship contenders. This is Justin Haley. This is the Fraternal Order of Eagles Chevy for GMS. He will start from the 4th spot, a 3-time winner this year, going for his first championship.
Inside row 2, there he is, Noah Gragson in the Safe Flight Auto Glass Toyota. He'll be hoping for a championship. Ran the perfect race in Kansas earlier this year. Set on the pole, won every stage, won the race. He needs to do that tonight.
We're going to ride along from the pole with our Ford onboard camera. This is Grant Enfinger. This is the champion power equipment. Curb Records Ford. He starts from the pole. Grant Enfinger trying to get win number 2 here in 2018.
Not just nerves in the cockpit holding that steering wheel, nerves up on the pit box too. Crew chiefs got a big job ahead of them tonight. Let's hear from a couple, and we'll begin with Hermie.
Well, Vince, not only do we have a championship on the line, also a Rookie of the Year battle. This is Marcus Richmond, the crew chief for Todd Gilliland. So close to a couple wins this year, but what's been the one thing that Todd has shown you this year to let you know that he's got what it takes to be a big-time NASCAR racer?
I think it's that thing where he's been leading at the last lap, coming to the white. You know, he definitely can do it. This team can do it. It kind of feels bad that we hadn't got a win for KBM and all our sponsors, Toyota. But I feel like if we can go out and win tonight, we can kind of seal the deal, seal our faith, and then the Rookie of the Year, you know, lies where it lies right to that.
That's Marcus Richmond. Vince?
Well, Hermie, he said it, the best way to secure Rookie of the Year, go out and win this race. And right now, Myatt Snyder is in position to do that. His crew chief, Rich Lushes, how would you describe his maturation throughout this season?
He's grown a lot all year long. We as a whole team, we got a rookie team, we all grew. Everybody at ThorSport Racing gave us a really good Ford F-150 for this evening. So hopefully we can go out and put it in victory lane.
All right, a lot to race for out there tonight, guys.
Well, it is a 22-point difference between Rookie of the Year, the Rookie of the Year contenders. You see Myatt Snyder and Todd Gilliland, but those 22 points can go away just like that.
They sure can. We talk about the stage points not mattering for the championship four. They do matter for these guys. Whoever has the most points this season will win the Rookie of the Year battle. And you can see right now with that edge, Myatt Snyder, 22 more points. But again, remember, Todd Gilliland wasn't old enough at the beginning of the year, Michael, to run all the races.
And look, they both finished second, so they've been right there on the doorstep trying to get to victory lane. Tonight could be the night.
Yeah, I love that there are so many different goals and agendas throughout the field for each of these drivers tonight. And of course, we're going to talk a lot about the 4 championship contenders. And when you break it down over the course of the season, here's how they have fared. Johnny Sauter, 8 times this season, has had the best finish of the 4 championship drivers. And right on down, Moffitt, Haley, Gregson. Can you put much into this stat, or do you just throw all the stats out and see all 4 of them as even coming into this race?
I think they're pretty even. Johnny Sauter, by virtue of those 6 wins, obviously that accounts for 6 of the 8 times. Noah Gragson, Michael, as you mentioned, with only that 1 win, he's only outpointed these guys or outfinished these guys 2 times. But I think it's so closer. All 4 of these guys have gone to victory lane this year on the mile-and-a-halfs. So I think it's too close to call.
Yeah, there's no strategy as far as the history, I don't think, here, Vince. But what we will look for is that second stage winds down, if there's an ability with a caution flag to get to pit lane and switch things up on the other guys. Strategy at that point could become big.
We'll be coming to the green flag this time. Let's hear from the team of one of our championship contenders, the 24 of Justin Haley.
I don't say enough, but I'm very proud of you, Justin. You deserve to be here. You are easily one of the best drivers in this series. You deserve to be a champion. Go fight hard all night, 134 laps. Digging all the way.
Justin Haley and Kevin Bellecourt, the driver-crew chief combination, and they're a young team, young driver. Haley's just 19 years old. Bellecourt, his first year as a crew chief.
And that's what that young driver needs to hear. You're the best. That'll fire you up and get you ready to go racing.
Kevin Hamlin, a veteran spotter, will be on the roof helping that 24 team tonight. Hermie on the 18.
Rudy Fiegel just came on the radio to Noah Gragson and said, what we've done this year is put us in this position. We have trained you to win this championship. Now go do it.
Well, it may be who's the best team. It may be who's the luckiest. It may be who survives, end up being the champion at the end of the night. But it's going to be fun watching all those elements together. Grant Enfinger leads us from the pole, and the championship race is underway. Three wide for 4th as they hit the backstretch.
Moffitt with a good start, hit the bottom, but is not able to complete the pass. It's kind of tough to complete passes on the bottom. You see him 4 wide there off turn 4.
How about that black truck of Nemechek taking over that 4 spot on a 4 wide pass?
Justin Haley into 2nd, and still 3 wide with Sauter right in there along with Noah Gragson and Brett Moffitt. Now they sort themselves out a little bit. Gragson and Sauter side by side.
And Phil, I think you got to tippy toe just a little bit right here, especially if you're one of our championship 4. You don't want to get loose and have something throw your race away before you even get started.
Well, why were they 3 wide then, Michael, if you got a tippy toe?
They were trying to get out of that situation, but it was unavoidable.
Justin Haley challenging for the lead. Enfinger outside, Haley inside. 3-time winner this season, Justin Haley, challenging Grant Enfinger.
For our viewers that really aren't that used to this racetrack, it doesn't hurt you to be on the outside at this racetrack. As a matter of fact, especially later on, that probably will be an advantage to be on the outside.
Like Haley lost a little bit of momentum with that move, trying to get the lead from Enfinger. Didn't work, and Stuart Friesen closed the gap a little bit there in that 3rd spot.
That's the tough position to be in, Vince, when you're down on the bottom, especially when the outside truck kind of squeezes you down a little bit. Your truck has a tendency to get loose, and that's what we saw there with Haley off turn 2.
That white truck, the 38 of Ross Chastain, running all 3 series this weekend, running the trucks tonight, the Xfinity Series race tomorrow, the Cup race on Sunday.
I like the way Johnny Sauter is sorted out at the beginning of this race, Phil. You know, Johnny, he's not one to want to run right out next to that outside wall. He's already creeping up that way. He knows, like Brett Moffitt says, you got to be willing to adapt and adjust. I like this truck, this 21 truck early.
Great view on board. Johnny Sauter takes a dip down underneath the 52 of Stuart Friesen for third place.
Noah Gregson right behind, poised to pounce if there's a slip out of the 21. We'll go on board with Gregson here.
I thought Johnny might lose enough momentum by that pass not working that would allow Noah Gregson to pull up beside him. He may do it on the inside here.
I'm telling you, if you can complete a pass on the bottom at any point during this race, that's a statement. It shows you and your team that your truck is handling well, because it's just so difficult down there because of the less banking.
Trying to steal that position from Sauter, and Sauter fights right back on the outside.
You know, Michael, you talked about the progressive banking here, the 18 to 20 degrees. I was talking to Matt Craft, and I said, is it the banking that makes the top so much better, or is the bottom of the racetrack worn out? He said, I think it's the air. The way the air comes off the front of these trucks. There's Matt Craft in that yellow, number 88. The way the air comes off the front of these trucks, it bounces off the wall and gives these trucks side force. He said, that's why the top of the racetrack works.
And what about Matt Craft? And we talked about his 22nd starting position. He's already raced up inside the top 10. He's running in 9th position, and that's Ross Chastain. He's trying to take 8th away from him.
Gregson and Sauter, two of our championship contenders, continue to battle for position. That's for 4th. Stuart Friesen right there as well.
Noah's going to be able to slip in between them, see if he loses any momentum. But now we have John Hunter Nemechek on the inside of Johnny Sauter.
And remember, as we're 8 laps in, the tires have really started going away on these guys at this point.
And also make a note, on lap 7, the 18 was able to pass on the bottom. Noah Gregson went around Johnny Sauter using the bottom of the track. That's the most impressive move I've seen early in this race.
Brett Moffitt coming up alongside of the 8 of John Hunter Nemechek. Moffitt, of course, another one of our championship contenders. A career year for him as well. 5 wins for Moffitt this season, but doesn't have a job for next season. Not quite sure what his future holds.
Mike, you like that move he made? You like what Noah did? I'll show you the same thing. That 16 truck sticking low on the track. That's a really good sign for that team.
Now Moffitt taking a look inside of Johnny Sauter for 5th.
Vince, I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, the 21 missed about 30 minutes of practice today. They cut a right rear tire. Now, they had the option of putting on a second set of tires, but they wanted to save those stickers for the race tonight. The problem is his truck was too tight in practice, but they did not know exactly how much to adjust. Well, they've gone too far to start the race. So far, Johnny Sauter reporting to his crew chief, Joe Shear Jr., I am way too loose. They'll need to adjust that 21 when they get an opportunity to come down pit road.
And Hermie, that's what we were hearing out of those teams down on pit road today. This track would loosen up when it got dark. That's the case.
Sauter fought loose early in the race last year. Grant Infinger, no problem so far. He's led them all on a beautiful South Florida night. Back at Homestead-Miami Speedway, the championship night for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. There's your leader, Grant Infinger, in that bright yellow 98. He has led all 14 laps so far. And there's the battle for second. It's Noah Gregson, who has just passed Justin Haley a lap ago, and now Brett Moffitt takes a look at Haley. They're running 2, 3, and 4, second, third, and fourth, and they are all 3 championship contenders.
And Brett Moffitt, you can see him driving different lanes through the corners, down on the bottom, up top. One of the fastest trucks on the track right now. His crew just preaching patience, telling him he's faster to take care of his stuff, take care of those tires, and drive to the front.
And Phil, I'm curious, how much do you think they can save on the tires? When they cut low, does it wear them more? By making these bold moves, is that hurting their tires for later in the run?
I think it does maybe a little bit, but they know they have a 30-lap run here till the end of that first stage. Why not? Let's see if we can abuse these tires in 30 laps, and that'll give us a better idea in the last stage of the race what we can do.
Noah Gregson running second. Hermie?
Getting a lot of great information from his spotter, Tony Hirschman, who has a lot of experience. The biggest advice he gave Noah as he moved up to second, he says, when you track down somebody trying to make a pass, you have learning a lot as he makes his way to the front.
And Hirschman, that spotter that Hermie mentioned, also the spotter for Kyle Busch. Kyle, of course, running for a championship in the Monster Energy Cup Series on Sunday.
He must be a pretty good spotter.
Absolutely.
How about this Ross Chastain in the 38? The 02 is Austin Hill. They're just outside the top 10 there with Todd Gilliland in the 4 truck.
Now, Todd hadn't shown the speed we usually see out of that 4 truck, but I think he's just still learning. He's learning so much and making good progress here early. Join this battle for a spot just outside the top 10.
For Gilliland, it's been an interesting season. You know, he has led laps in 7 of the last 9 races. He had the race at Texas 1. He ran out of gas a half lap from the finish. I mean, it's been an up and down kind of year for them. Sometimes they just haven't raced to their expectation or our expectation maybe. But I think overall, you look at the season that the 4 has had, you got to call it a success.
I think without a doubt, we have to realize he just turned 18 back in May, so he wasn't even able to run the first few big racetracks we had on the schedule. It's amazing the progress he's made. As Marcus Richmond said, you know, they might not win tonight, but we know they're going to be contenders next year for this championship.
The 16 of Brett Moffitt closing in on Noah Gregson for second. How about some radio communication from the 16 group?
18 must have been studying what we were doing today, huh? And for on that, that's what I was thinking. His long run speed is second to ours, I'd say right now. He's the only competition we've got.
What do you take from that radio communication?
Well, I talked at the opening about how everybody said the 16 truck of Brett Moffitt was the fastest on the long run. These teams study all the data they can get their hands on to figure out why that might be. And when you have a crew chief like Rudy Fugle and a young student behind the wheel like Noah Gregson, you learn from that and you apply it. And it's obviously working early because Moffitt can't do anything with Gregson, but both of them are gaining on our leader, Grant Enfinger.
10 laps remaining here in this first stage.
Happens in a hurry. How cool would it be to see Matt Crafton get a big victory tonight? The team hasn't had the year they were hoping for, got knocked out of the playoffs last week, and he is coming up inside of the top 10, up to 6 now.
We talked about it during qualifying. This is the only competitive truck in the field with an OEM engine. This is a Ford engine. Everybody else has the NT1 built by Elmore, basically a spec engine. Matt Crafton, Junior Joyner said they were just going to test this, trying to look towards next year. Matt Crafton said we'll probably be hurt a little bit qualifying, but we think it may be the way to go in the race, and he's headed to the front.
Crafton started deep in the field, but he has moved up. Currently running 6th. His ThorSport teammate, Grant Enfinger, showing the way from the front. The championship race from Homestead-Miami, Florida for the Camping World Truck Series. It's the Ford EcoBoost 200, and Grant Enfinger has led them all from the drop of the green tonight from pole position. And with just 4 laps remaining in stage 1, his lead is more than a second on second place, Noah Gregson.
But those guys have steadily closed in on him, Vince. He stretched that lead out to over a second and a half. See Gregson to the bottom. He's pulled away from Brett Moffitt in the 3rd position, so a good long-run truck for that 18 truck.
And Michael, Matt Crafton is not racing for a championship, but he is the topic of discussion on the 18 radio.
Crafton's pretty quick here. Straddling top seam 3-4, running bottom of 1-2. We'll give that a try here once we get around the lapper.
So trying some different lines is the 18. Also back to Johnny Sauter. He continues to drop. He is way too loose. He told me earlier today, I do not like running the top of the racetrack. I even spent some time on the simulator trying to figure it out. You can see he's trying to get up there and go, but so far it is not working for the 21. He is way too loose.
He's going the other way, Hermie. Harrison Burton gets around Sauter there, and there comes his Kyle-Busch Motorsports teammate, Todd Gilliland, to try to dispose of Sauter as well.
And they're just sometimes drivers are more comfortable up top than others. I mean, if you're not comfortable up there, you're not going to be fast whether you go up there or not.
Yeah, that's exactly. But I think Johnny Sauter's truck is just simply too loose right now. We've seen this truck maybe be a little bit off at the start of the race, and Joe Shear really makes some nice adjustments. So let's don't count out Johnny Sauter yet, even though he may not be comfortable up at the top of the racetrack. He's won on this racetrack before. He finished 3rd here last year, 2nd in the championship to Christopher Bell.
And remember, when he finished 3rd last year, his truck started out just the way it is tonight at the drop of the green flag. like it just was sideways loose on him until they got it tightened up and he was able to do something with it.
Maybe Johnny said, good. It's just like it was a year ago when I won the championship.
Make those same changes, Joe.
Please do that.
Grant Enfinger on the final lap of stage 1. That's Jeb Burton right out in front of him. But Enfinger is your leader.
Burton's the 21st truck.
Trying to stay on the lead lap, and he will do that.
Grant Enfinger wins stage 1.
Those crew chiefs, Vince, they watch closely how many trucks are on the lead lap. That could help them decide on some strategy later in the race. The fewer trucks on the lead lap, the more chances you can take.
Enfinger wins the stage. Noah Gregson, the first of the championship contenders. He was second in stage 1.